This presentation's about marked surveys, what they are, how you do them and design them, why you'd use them, and some of the things that come up in the process of creating them, recording data into them, and publishing them. A marked survey is one of the two main ways of navigating a survey site. It's an alternative to GPS surveying, where you go around your site and you get locations out of a GPS. In a marked survey, you have some predetermined routes or geometry, and having set those up, you march along them, and your locations are interpolated between beginnings and ends of lines or between marks on the lines. This will make more sense as we get into more descriptions. And everything that gets described here is going to be shown or illustrated in a separate video showing how the work actually gets done. So why do you use a marked survey? Their origin is in survey situations where GPS or other location systems weren't precise enough for the requirements of the survey. Basically, where you're surveying tight lines or lines that have to be, really quite straight. That's become maybe a little less important as GPS precision has gotten better, but sometimes you don't have a good enough GPS signal to survey a site with GPS either. Another reason to do it is you can define a marked survey and say, for example, we have a 100 meter by 100 meter grid with a certain number of lines in it and a certain separation. You can collect that data and publish it based on the coordinates within that 100 by 100 meter grid without publishing latitude and longitude information if you want to keep your site location private. And there might be a number of cases where that consideration applies. So you will start by creating a marked survey, which will be some parameters and definitions inside a project file. You're going to start by the survey designer establishing a route or geometry for the survey. Your survey designer may look at a site and say, this is a 100 meter by 100 meter survey area, and we'd like to survey at 1 meter intervals or 2 meter intervals, and we may have a certain number of sort of waypoints along each line that spans that area, and so on. The designer will then go in and transfer that conceptual idea of the geometry of the survey into a route file, which is a definition in text form of what the survey area is and what the lines and marks are in that area. The designer or another user can go into Survey Manager and create a project in a survey with the survey definition, including selecting this route, that's this text format for the route that's been defined earlier on. And for the G864 MagX and perhaps some other future products that use the MagNav Android app, this survey creation process occurs in Geometric Survey Manager. And again, all this is going to be illustrated in some follow-up videos. So having gotten that survey defined and in a project file that can be run with MagNav, the field crew is going to go out and place stakes or markers or other items out on the field. The field crew might identify some natural landmarks that define lines, so you might not need to put markers down. Or you might have some other methods. You know, sometimes there's a guide, a person, let's say, with a GPS location system where they've established during some other survey process what these lines are, and the surveyor may simply follow them along a predefined line or transect. Having established this physical layout, the field crew is also going to take that project and put it onto the survey tablet. Out in the field crew starts the instrument, gets a Wi-Fi connection between the tablet and the instrument, opens the project and survey, and verifies that the tablet is receiving good data from the instrument. You'll start, now we're talking about details of the user interface that are going to make sense once you see the UI in the remainder of this video or follow-up. You'll start recording at the end of a line because these routes consist of lines. And then you walk at an even pace from the start point to the first mark on the line, maybe to another mark, and eventually you get at the end and you tap the mark button at each point. The purpose of that mark button is to say between this point on a line and the next point, we collected this sequence of data, and those data points will be interpolated between these two separate marks on the line. This will make sense later. When you finish a line, or when you get to the end of a line and you press mark, collection stops. And then maybe you're done with your survey, or you'll go to the next line over and survey it the same way. And you can, with the MagNav-based applications, you can take a look at your data in the heat map tab. Once you've collected all this data, you'll move the project file off of the tablet back to the PC with Survey Manager running on it. You'll open the project file, open the survey. You should find data in it, of course, and you'll export the data either to CSV or to GDB or some other supported format. And then you can view it or analyze it in your analysis programs. That could be MagPick, MagMap, Surfer, Oasis Montage, whatever you're using.